Hi, everyone. We are live today in the stream for QUOKA user research interview with Shuai Chen today. Thanks for joining. Feel free to chime in any questions. If people join live, typically people have not been joining live, but watching after, still a thing. But thanks, Shuai, for taking the time to chat today. As you know, I'm trying to improve my product, and getting your honest feedback is a really important part of that. So
awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. We're also broadcasting this conversation live so that anyone else who's interested in trying to solve this problem can access our research as well. I like to keep the session pretty informal. I'm just trying to learn from you today. I'll ask you a lot of questions. Of course, it's not a test. There's no right or wrong answers. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, just a clarification. So you pronounce my name Shuai. There's no A at the end.
Shuai Chen.
Yes.
Perfect. So why don't we just start off with a little bit about your work, and we can pull up your website and introduce people to your founder story.
Sure. So my company runs virtual team building, escape rooms, murder mysteries, scavenger hunts, and game shows. And we have live actors to host the games, and all the games are designed in-house. And they're designed to help create authentic connection, community, and to get people to just kind of know each other as human beings. Yeah.
That's fun. How long have you been working on this project?
Yeah, so I started Greater Good Games in 2015. And then in 2017, I realized that no one is really thinking about virtual team building. So I started working on virtual team building games in 2017. Yeah.
Nice timing.
Thank you.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's been interesting because we basically had like no clients, and then COVID hit and we were completely ready, and it was amazing in this weird time of terribleness.
Right. Let's bring up your site. Curiosity, community, and play. Beautiful. There's you. I love your chief puzzle officer. What is that kind of inspiration behind that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved playing puzzles and playing escape rooms. I'm actually on Team USA for the Escape Room Championship. So I just love designing puzzles. And since it's my company, I decided to have a fun title instead of just boring CEO.
Yeah, I love it. I call myself a connection doctor. I try to be not boring with it either.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So when you are thinking about your founder journey, like, you've been dedicated to this since you started, or what did you do before this?
Yeah, so I went to school for biology, neuroscience, and cancer biology. Ended up really hating research and deciding to do something completely different. After I quit graduate school, I got super lucky and got kind of my dream job of being the executive director of a nonprofit. So I ran that organization for about 4 years, and that was when I fell in love with kind of creating team building events. And then I did some nonprofit consulting. I was a co-founder of a couple of social enterprises, and then here I am.
Nice. Well, getting a master's is nothing to, that can be a high stress situation, just like entrepreneurship. So probably prepared you a little bit for the journey.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive in. Or anything else that people should know about Greater Good Games?
I don't know. I think we can add whatever to it when we get to it. So, yeah.
Perfect. Sounds good. Side note, have you been hunted on Product Hunt?
I am not a product. This is a service industry kind of thing. So we're hosting events and we have live actors. So it's not really a product hunt kind of thing. We actually don't have any like built tech. We use off the shelf things and kind of hack them into ways to create puzzles.
Okay, cool. Very cool. Love it, love it. Sorry, that was just a little side note because I'm also a product hunter, so I'm always trying to support founders
Nice.
in that way. Okay. And you are based in the US?
Yes.
Great. Do you belong to any founder entrepreneur communities?
Yes. So I'm on a bunch of different founder and entrepreneurship communities on Facebook. I'm also part of Rising Tides. I also have created my own founders accountability group, because I find that I'm great at taking tests and doing homework, but it's difficult to like kind of do things for myself. So I'm an obliger, if you know Gretchen Rubin's Four Tendencies. So it's best when I have someone to kind of report to. So I've created my own community for that.
Mm-hmm. Nice. How's that going?
It's okay. Sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not so great, depending on things that are happening in life and everything. Since we're all humans, sometimes like we just don't have the chance to meet and stuff.
What would you say is kind of the biggest tip for someone who's building community?
Community building is hard. It's very difficult, and it's all about kind of consistency and expectations. Some of the best communities that I'm a part of are actually like communities for companies that don't support their products. So I have a laser cutter, and the company that makes this laser cutter like answers emails within a couple of days. And of course, everyone's always in a rush when they want help. So there's a great Facebook group where we're all supporting each other, and we're like, here, do you need this kind of V belt or whatever, like stuff? And we share information, we share files, and we just kind of help each other. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks for that tip.
Mm-hmm.
And I am finding, yes, this is very hard to build community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these next statements are just true or false. Being an entrepreneur or founder is fun.
Yes.
Okay. Being an entrepreneur or founder is hard.
Yes.
I feel understood as an entrepreneur or founder.
What does that even mean?
Well, do you identify as a entrepreneur or a founder?
Oh, yes.
Do you feel like generally when you're out in the world, you are understood as that being a part of your identity?
Yes, that's definitely part of my identity.
And people understand that about you?
Mm-hmm.
I feel listened to as an entrepreneur or founder.
I guess sometimes leaning slightly towards yes.
The people around me understand the problems and challenges that you face as an entrepreneur or founder.
Yeah, I try to surround myself with more entrepreneurial community members. So, yeah.
Life as an entrepreneur is depressing at times.
Yes.
I feel pressure as an entrepreneur or founder to be involved in communities online and in person.
Yes.
I enjoy helping others and solving problems.
Definitely.
When it takes me a few days to reply to someone asking for my help, it causes me to feel guilty.
Yes.
I feel pressure to appear to look like I know what I'm doing as a founder or entrepreneur.
No.
I always feel confident that I know what I'm doing as an entrepreneur or founder.
I don't think anyone always feels confident.
Right?
Mhm.
I have people that I can speak to about my deepest thoughts and challenges about being a founder or entrepreneur.
Yeah,
I feel comfortable asking for help when I need it.
sometimes. That's,
Meaning,
I guess leaning slightly towards yes.
what do you like best about being an entrepreneur founder? Like, why are you doing this?
I don't think anyone should be an entrepreneur because they want to be an entrepreneur. It is difficult work. It's heart wrenching. Some days I wake up and I'm just like, I can't do anything, and I crawl and I stay in bed. You have to be an entrepreneur because there's something that drives you to do that thing. And for me, it's about building community and authentic connections. It's something that I've always cared about, and that it gives me joy whenever I feel like I'm helping two people actually recognize the humanity in each other and empathize with each other. Let's see. Yeah, what I love about entrepreneurship is that I get to create the change I wish to see in the world, and that every single day is completely different and unique, and I get to control everything about everything.
Mm-hmm. What's your sign, by the way?
I'm a
Cool sign
Cancer.
question. Nice. Yeah.
Mhm.
Love it. I should be like that. I should put that as a sign, as a question in here. People are into it, like horoscopes are huge these days. Um, okay, so then going on to the next question. What do you like least about being a entrepreneur? What is the most challenging aspect of, this work? I feel like you kind of covered it, but
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of self-doubt that you can't really push away. It's also just getting rejected sometimes when you're trying to sell your product or service. It's the putting your baby out there, and usually people say that your baby is beautiful, but sometimes people say it's ugly, and it feels heart-wrenching every single time someone says your baby is ugly, even though hundreds of other people have said your baby is beautiful. It's the most difficult thing for me right now is actually prioritizing my life, basically. Yeah, this company has kind of been all consuming for the last year and a half, and I basically haven't had any time to breathe and be fun and happy and human and stuff. Yeah, so planning a vacation where I don't have to think about work, and trying to figure out how to do that as a solopreneur with a couple of contractors and stuff. It's been interesting, and just documenting everything and trying to figure out how to prioritize things that I can do, and other things that I can delegate.
mm-hmm. I feel you, girl. Solo
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneur up in here. If you were giving advice to an aspiring founder, what would you tell them that they need to fulfill their full potential?
I think it's really important to know yourself as a human being before embarking on an entrepreneurship journey. Reading Gretchen Rubin's Four Tendencies and Better Than Before really helped me understand that I'm terrible at keeping promises to myself. If I say I'm going to exercise every day this week, there's no way I'm going to do it. But if I have a friend who says, let's exercise every day this week, I will be there all the time, on time, or 3 minutes early. That's just my personality. It's who I am. And I love being accountable to others. So I have to build my life around being my entrepreneurship journey, around being accountable to others, whether it's clients, whether it's my team members, whether it's advisors and mentors, or accountability partners. There's also another book that I really enjoyed, When by Daniel Pink. And that really talks about how your circadian rhythm is different, whether you're a night owl or a morning lark or like a third bird kind of normal-ish person, and how like sometimes in for morning larks they are much more productive in the mornings, but then they should do all the admin work then and then do more creative and connection things in the evenings, kind of, and kind of hacking your day to make sure that you can do these kind of things. It's also about like figuring out how you do your best work in terms of timing. A lot of people really recommend the Pomodoro method, which is 25 minutes of heavy work and then 5 minutes or 15 minutes break. But I don't really get into work mode until I take like a whole 2 hours. So scheduling Pomodoro things just doesn't work for me. So what I have to do is just schedule out a 2 hour chunk of block, or I have no meeting Wednesdays and no meeting Fridays to make sure that I have the time to actually do the work that I need to do.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate you taking the time, by the way, to chat with me.
Yeah, of course.
You're extremely busy.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of that you've now recommended for an aspiring entrepreneur to have, do you feel that you have everything that you need to fulfill your full potential as an entrepreneur?
I mean, what's full potential? That's a very, it's difficult to answer, because technically to fulfill my full potential, I need like a lot more team members. I need a lot more money. I need advisors who know everything. And I need like to find professional services that I need and stuff like that. So I guess no is the answer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But also, my goal in life isn't to be the largest team building company or the largest escape room company in the world. That's just not what I want to do with my life and my time.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Very noted. That is noted. Yeah, full potential can mean so many different things to so many different people, and entrepreneurship doesn't have to be your whole thing. Like, you're creating that change that you want to see through the hours that you dedicate to entrepreneurship, but you
Totally.
also are a person.
Yeah, totally.
Great. I'm glad I understand that. What about this question? So when you need information, you want to learn something new related to your entrepreneurship journey, you need help or support with the challenges you're facing, maybe you need to hire a contractor for a skill that you don't have that you're hiring out. Where do you go first for the answer?
First, I go to my female founder accountability group. Those are people who are kind of on the same level as me, who I trust their opinions and their advice. If they don't have that, then I might go to like the Facebook groups of entrepreneurship and solopreneurs, or I might go to some friends or people I met through networking events who are very well connected. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would love to get invited to some of those groups that you mentioned.
Sounds good.
Plug me in, girl. Trying to get connected.
Will do.
Okay. How much time does it typically take you to get that information or the support that you're looking for? Would you say it's 1 hour or less, half a day, a full day, more than one day, or a week or longer?
I think that really depends. Like, what kind of information are we talking about? Is it just like the name of a good accountant, or is it like how to solder electronics together to make a prop or whatever? Because those are very different things. I think usually I can get the name of someone or like a resource I should turn to within a couple of hours. But like actually learning the thing or something, or like ironing out a contract, might take several days.
Mm-hmm. So, on your journey, as you're facing these challenges, you're going to your places for support. Sometimes, you may, I'm not sure whether most of the times you're just looking for a name or most of the time the challenge is learning new skills, but on average, what's the time that it takes you to
I'd
get that?
say a couple of hours, maybe.
Cool. So half a day.
Sure.
Okay, great.
But it's never like fully concentrated searching for this thing or like texting people. It's always like a 5-minute email there, a two-hour phone call there, or whatever. So
I know.
yeah.
Wouldn't it be great if we could just send a message, get the help right away?
Yeah.
Insert QUOKA. Just kidding, but not really. Okay. How would you rate your overall mental health on a scale from 0 to 10?
Probably a 6. Yeah, 6.
How does that make you feel, the fact that it's
Mm,
a 6?
maybe a 2.
Out of these on the list, which are negatively impacted when you have felt less than great mentally?
Definitely confidence, friendships, social life, eating habits, activity, sleep. Yeah, those.
From these items, choose whether they have a positive, neutral, or negative effect on your mental health.
Um, okay. Social media is probably no effect. The news is negative effect. Family is negative effect. Friendships is positive. Work is usually positive. Volunteering is positive, and romantic is positive.
Which has the most positive effect on your mental health?
It's hard to separate everything because everything's all mixed together. But I would probably say romantic relationships.
How many hours a week do you spend engaging in romantic relationships?
I mean, my boyfriend and I live together, so we're together 24 hours a day.
Remote working now, right?
Yeah.
All the time.
hmm
How or what do you do to help support or manage your mental health?
I schedule in time to not work. So, like last week on Friday, I didn't have any clients or any super important meetings that I had to look fancy in or anything. So, I took the day and went to my ceramic studio and played with clay all day.
Mm. Are you on TikTok?
I am not.
I'm obsessed with watching the clay making
It
videos on TikTok.
is very fun to watch those. And then I feel bad about not being able to do those amazing things. So I do not
Yeah.
watch them.
And I'll tell you what, once you've made like a cup
hmm
or a plate, I don't know but for you, but for me, I was like, I will never buy something not like artisanally created again, because you
Nice.
see the labor that it takes to like make that, and it's just like I want that appreciation every time I eat or every time I drink. Like someone put in the hours to
Hmm.
make this. Clay stuff is dope.
Definitely.
Do you use any applications or websites to help you support or manage your mental health?
No, I used to use this like habit tracker site, but it didn't feel like it was very useful, so I stopped using it.
Do you remember the name of it by chance?
I do not. I don't have it on my phone right now, but I can find it for you.
Sure. No worries. It's totally like, I know those, like the little things they pile up, the things you say you'll do, and then it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
gross. Something you might take 5 minutes, it's taking 45. It's like, where did the time go?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Dalio. That's the name.
Paleo?
Dalio. So you check in every day and you can track like how much water you drank and like whether you exercised or whatever.
Interesting. Very good. Can you tell me about a time you felt mentally unhealthy or imbalanced?
I mean, just any time when I feel completely stressed out and overworked. Usually that means I'm just like so overwhelmed with so many things that are high priority that everything feels like it's high priority, and then it doesn't feel like I can actually pick one, because picking one means you're not picking the other 20 things that you should be doing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Usually what ends up happening is that I just can't fall asleep, so I end up working at like 3 a.m. and actually getting those things done, but that doesn't seem like a good thing to do.
Right, right. But then again, that sleep cycle thing you mentioned, it all gets done at the end of the thing.
It's true.
Um, Maybe not as best mindset wise when we're tired, but
Mhm.
it gets done. Who do you talk to about your mental health?
Mostly my boyfriend.
So you speak to them often, I would assume.
Hmm.
In person, do you
Yeah.
also do phone calls, text messages with them?
Sometimes we do text or Zoom when we're not in the same area.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What support do you need that you're not receiving to help manage your mental health?
I'm not sure. I guess more success stories of people who've gone through it and kind of how they dealt with everything would be useful. Because my problem is I don't know what to ask for because I don't know what's available.
Mm-hmm. So key. Like if you don't know the right questions to ask,
Yeah.
you can't get the information. I find that with
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship too. I'm like trying to explain something, especially if it's like a technical thing, and someone's like, "Oh, you need the da 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 da," and I'm like, "Oh, yes, thank you. I'll just Google that." Like
Yes,
they put the terms
definitely.
for me. Um, how much would you expect to pay for a platform that creates a more positive impact on your mental health? Nothing between 1 and 5, between 6 and 10, over 10
Is this per month, per week, per ever?
per per month.
What does this platform do?
It creates a more positive impact on your mental health.
Very vague.
I know.
Um,
That's a very common word people are using to describe my product. They're like, it's very vague. I'm like, I'm an artist. What do you want from me?
yeah, I
I need a
think
messaging person to be like, translate my artist mind
mhm.
into internet speak.
Yes. I think it really depends on where this platform is. I feel like if it's an app, I never pay for apps. I think I've paid for like two apps in my life. And I've paid for like maybe five in app purchases ever. So I feel like I don't know why, but the fact that it's a phone app makes me not want to pay anything. But if it's like a community, an online community, a Mighty Networks kind of thing, I've seen those be like 10, 15, $20 per month kind of.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you.
Mhm.
When thinking about the mental health of people that you know, how do you think most of them would rate their overall mental health on a scale from 0 to 10, with 10 being the highest?
Mm, I think everyone thinks they're slightly better than average, so six ish, unless someone is like very much in crises. But most people would think they're better than average.
Mhm. Um, I'm just going to list out some social platforms and just tell me if you use them or not.
Hmm.
Twitter,
Nope.
Instagram,
A little bit.
Facebook,
Yes.
Clubhouse,
Nope.
WhatsApp,
Yes.
TikTok,
No.
Reddit,
Very slightly whenever I need a specific thing.
Snapchat,
Nope.
Twitch.
I follow a couple of Twitch channels.
Mhm. And then LinkedIn.
Slightly, yeah.
Anything else? Any other social?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on Discord. There's a couple of Discord communities for escape rooms and friends and stuff. I basically the things I check on my phone are Facebook, Discord, Slack, and email.
Very nice. On average, how many messages do you receive a day?
All messages? I'm
Across all platforms.
I'm confused by this question. Like, how do you even quantify bazillions?
Oh, over 10.
Yes, definitely over 10.
And how does receiving over 10 messages a day make you feel?
It's fine. I'm used to it. Let's see. Right now, I have 26,000 unread emails on my main email account. And I think like 30,000 on a separate email account. So it's just something that I live with. Yeah, I'm not one of those people who enjoy inbox zero. Actually, whenever
Right.
I have been inbox zero, and it makes me nervous. It feels too empty, like there's nothing to do in the world. So no.
Yeah, I've never been there. Like those little bubbles on my, I have an
Mm-hmm.
iPhone, you know, the little bubbles don't bother
Mm-hmm.
me. I'm just like, yep, they're just
Oh yeah,
there.
I just deleted the little bubbles, so I
Oh,
don't see
really?
them.
You don't
Mm-hmm.
see them? Oh my God.
Nope.
That's smart. So then you're really in control with your phone then.
Not really. I mean, text messages and WhatsApp still get pinged, but like other than those, or like the random person who calls me and uses a phone as a phone.
Hmm.
Yeah, other than those, I usually can control when I pay attention to it.
Right. On average, how many messages do you send a day? Over 10?
Yes,
Or okay. And how does sending over 10 messages a day make you feel?
it's fine. I mean, everyone just always is expected to be online or inaccessible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, do you have interviewees who have less than 10 messages?
No one I have interviewed live has had less than 10, but we also have the survey that people can just take anonymously, and
Mm-hmm.
we do. I have
Hmm.
people that have answered that, and I did a big compilation of all my data before I switched my target market to founders. I was just talking to everyone about their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
I published a report about all of my data, and so you can go in there and you can kind of see the breakdown number wise.
Cool.
And it was interesting to read the responses of people that most people are like, if they receive more than 10, they're just like, whatever. And then people that don't receive as many, some of them flat out just said, like, it doesn't make me feel good. People want to receive more messages. It makes them feel
Mm-hmm.
loved and part of, the world today.
Yeah,
Kind of like,
it's the problem of being busy versus being actually productive.
right. Busy doesn't equal productive. Right. Okay. So now I'm going to. Is it possible for you to share your screen by chance?
I should be able to.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to send you a link
Okay.
to the QUOKA website.
Cool.
And I want you to just kind of browse around
Mm-hmm.
and and I'll just kind of, I'll just walk you through that.
Okay. I guess I will screen share. I do not have two monitors with me. I will screen share the window. Okay. Cool. So So for these quotes, I would prefer them to have a name or even a face attached to them because this makes me feel like you made them up.
So it doesn't, a lot of people have said that. And my response is always like, but it's anonymous.
I know. But
I'm like,
their
I don't.
feedback for you is not anonymous. The app is anonymous, right?
Well, I guess what I could do, you bring up a good point. I could ask members to unanonymously provide me the feedback
Mm-hmm.
because that I just straight up
Or
within.
yeah, or you ask them for like a referral, not a referral, what is it? A testimony.
Right. Yeah. Totes. Good point. Thank you. Because I was like, I don't really know how people expect me to do that when it is
Mm-hmm.
anonymous. Like,
Yeah, how do you even know their ages?
that's the only information I get is the
Uh,
age and
mhm.
the location. I don't even see the
Okay.
phone number of
Mm.
people. I can't even like text them outside of the platform. That's how anonymous it is.
Mhm. Guilt-free ghosting. Nice. Mhm. I feel like there's too many things to scroll through.
Mm-hmm.
I know you want to say all this information, but it feels too much. Let's see.
How would you describe QUOKA and its purpose in 2 to 3 sentences?
I think it's to provide mutual support for founders. Is there? Yeah, I don't actually know. So I think I need to figure to look behind to see. Sorry, I am not in San Francisco. Why do you think I'm in San Francisco? Yeah, I'd have to like see it to be able to describe it better, but that's what I think it does. So it's a texting service. And is it connecting you to everyone on the QUOKA phone thing, or is it only connecting you with one person, or I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So right now, I read every message that comes through.
Mm-hmm.
And based on what the message is and the preferences that the member sets when they sign up,
Mm-hmm.
you may get all the messages, you may get only some of them.
Got it. So QUOKA is waiting for you. So I'm trying to do the setup, but it's saying check your text messages. But my text message says click on the link to set it up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do to do the setup. So now I'm wondering, does everyone get my phone number when I send a message? Because I don't have an anonymous handle.
Well, the answer to that is no. But so when you're clicking the link in the text message, it's not doing anything?
Mm-mm.
Well, that's
It's showing me check your texts.
Okay, so then did you check your text?
I did. My texts say QUOKA is waiting for you. Set up on this link. And then when
And
I
what
click
happens when
on
you click the link?
when I click the link, it says check your texts.
Well, that's not good.
Mm.
What is your service provider?
I'm on T-Mobile.
You're on T-Mobile. The link is not working. Well, that is a problem. I'm gonna have to look into that immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so it works when I typed in help and then it sent me the link again.
Yeah, but you're smart. You're real smart to be able to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
We need it to be simple, easy, work every time.
Well, your target community, your target members are going to be smart founders, right?
It's true. That might be that bug might be an excellent, whatever it's called, like off, like, I don't know, barrier.
Yeah, it's a barrier to entry. It's almost like you're selecting your community by pushing away the people that
Can
can't
you
figure
solve
it
this
out.
problem? Do you really want it? Oh my God, so funny. Okay. Okay, great. So that concludes the interview. Is there anything else that I should know about anything?
Mm, I don't know, but I want to know more about how this works and what
Okay.
happens now that I put my phone number in here.
Yeah. And so I can answer any questions, of course, but also, I would encourage you to play with QUOKA and be like, because I'm probably sure we have prompts for this kind of stuff, but it just ends up sending you to our FAQ. Like when you're like, how does this work? Then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is how it works. But what questions do you have, or do you want me to just dump on you? Where I am.
Yeah, dump
Okay.
on me.
So I just finished up doing a boot camp where I put together my go-to-market, first time I've ever going to market. And then I set up a test group with 11 users with a founder, once I narrowed in my niche market, with a founder community.
Mm-hmm.
I just relaunched this landing page and was going to focus on like redoing my entire onboarding process. So the first users that came on, I was creating the onboarding process as I went along. Like literally, I was like, okay, there's a user. Like, what are we doing with them? Like,
Sure.
and then I was gonna, like, my one thing this week was to get the onboarding process kind of firmed up. However, I'd love to get your take on this. My mentor advisor group were more adamant about me measuring the traffic on my new landing page, and seeing if I'm happy with those conversion rates, people signing up. So before I move on to doing the onboarding process, because why design an onboarding process if I'm not getting any users signing up? Do you know what I mean? Like my initial first users were all through a partnership, and I'd love to explore more of those, but at the same time, I have to, because I do want to eventually raise money for this, which I've never done before. And, there are certain numbers that they require, like your conversion and like, how did you get those? And, what's your customer acquisition cost? And so this week I'm just focused on putting in analytics for the back end of the website to, Hotjar and Google and all that stuff. So then I can really get into those numbers. So just to be honest, the onboarding process right now for users is not the best. It's an MVP, but I do care deeply about every single founder that has signed up. And I can tell you some of the questions that come in and the answers that have been exchanged are so meaningful. Just this morning, we got a message in about what do I do? I want, how are you, like the question was basically, and I had to translate them into like shorter snippets for the group, but they're trying to rent an apartment. They can't because they don't have any
payroll tax or the pay stubs. Yeah.
And so I was like, damn, dude, that's like so valid. I never had to go through that myself personally because I had purchased a home when I had a 9-to-5 job. So I sent it out to the community And right away, someone answered. They were like, "Oh, what you need to do is a W-10 and log your hours, and then pay yourself." Well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, sent that right away over to them. And so it was just like, a knowledge exchange really quickly, which was
Nice.
very just like nice to solve that problem for someone right away. There's also been other things that are kind of, just rough. People, sending in messages like, "I feel exhausted and alone." And I've really faced a lot of imposter syndrome with some of those messages where I'm like, I'm not a therapist. And also, some of these questions that founders send in, I have myself. So I don't know all the answers. And that's why the community is so important. Because, and luckily, people have shown up every time.
Yeah, it shouldn't be you answering or moderating anything, because then you're never going to be able to do anything for the actual company.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually, I'd like to have, some sort of automation where the question that comes in is intelligently read and routed based on preferences. Right now, I'm doing all that myself. So that's kind of where I'm going with this.
I mean, I don't think you even need to invest in automation. You just need a great virtual assistant who can be on call.
Right? No, that is definitely something that I've thought of. And I'm down to open up a call center or a connection center in one of these places that's what they do. If we get to that level of scale, yes. You know what I mean? Miriam Dorsett is not above opening up a connection center. We will open up enterprises out here. I'm ready. Yeah. So that's a good point. What other stuff? Do you have more questions, or like what other thoughts do you have?
No, this sounds great. Yeah, you should definitely send it out to like lots of female founders communities and stuff like that. I'm in a lot of those communities, so I can send you over that information and everything.
Thank you. And what can I do to support your work?
Just keep me in top of mind anytime anyone talks about how it sucks to be at work or whatever, and that they can't connect with their teammates, because any referrals are always appreciated.
Great. What I'm going to do is I can put a running banner ad in my Product Hunt community newsletter, which goes out in South Florida. So I can either just grab stuff from your website, put it together, or if you want to send me something like an official blurb with image, you can.
Sounds good. Yeah, the website is kind of got everything that I've tried and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. Well, I'll send that out, and I really appreciate your time. And yeah, just let's keep in touch.
Yeah, it was so lovely chatting with you and learning more about QUOKA and everything.
Thank you for taking the time and for your honest feedback.
Of course. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.